transforming between a giant two-handed axe and an epic two-handed sword. The switch axe is a super fun and super badass weapon, which kind of takes me to the trick weapons you find in Bloodborne, transforming between one booty clapping form to another. An extremely fun weapon choice with multiple playstyles that you can adopt. I'll break down all the different combos, we'll take a look at what skills are very useful for it, and which weapons you can aim to craft to get yourself some really nice gear. I'm Lighted Up Dan, and on the channel I love to produce content that aims to distill lots of complex information from Monster Hunter into an easily digestible format. If you haven't caught any of the event roundups, weapon overviews, or other similar videos, do check them out, there's something there for everyone. Very quickly, a massive thank you to all of you who have really shown up and gotten us to around 80% of unsubscribed viewers on the channel. With the majority of you returning, if you enjoy the videos, do subscribe. Let's get that down to 50%. And with that said, let's get to it. Starting off in axe form, you have your default core combo attack, 3 inputs seeing you do the side slash into the rising slash, finishing with the overhead slash. This can be infinitely looped, and pay particular attention to the rising slash, and especially so the overhead slash, as they do increased damage. Holding down the left stick when you initiate the first input will start off with a forward slash instead of a side slash. Not only that, but it follows up with the overhead slash, the most powerful of the combo. An effective gap closer and allows you to get to your higher damage attacks quicker. You can hold left stick backwards and press B or circle to initiate your fade slash attack. This creates distance from you and the monster, whilst also dealing a chunk of damage. A great option for repositioning yourself during the heat of combat. Repeatedly pressing B or circle allows you to do the wild swing attack, firing out back-to-back blows while slowly draining your stamina. After a few swings, your Y or triangle attack will transform over to a heavy slam. By firing this attack out, you don't actually even need to land it. It applies a buff to your axe form. You'll notice looking at your switch axe gauge that the axe portion is now glowing red. This temporary buff applies increased part and stagger damage. Very useful to have active, and there's no reason not to apply it. Out of the wild swing, you can do one of the weapon's most powerful attack combos, the morph sweep. A single input does a devastating barrage of blows, which will unleash a tremendous amount of damage and has excellent reach. This should be one of your core attacks that can be fired out immediately out of the wild swing. Now that we're transformed into sword mode, let's take a look at some of the things we can do with this bad boy. First up, let's quickly take a look at the switch axe gauge in the top left corner. You can see a bar running through the middle of the weapon. This depletes each time you swing the weapon whilst it's in sword mode. As you land strikes, you'll also see that the icon begins to glow. Filling this meter will put the weapon in an amped state, increasing its attack power. Whatever file type the switch axe is will be added to it as a bonus whilst in sword form. Whether that's raw, elemental, status, or even exhaust. There are 2 combo strings you can do whilst you are in sword form. You can hit Y or triangle for a few inputs to do some decent damage, or you can also do a very flashy B combo string for some good damage too. Both have quite a lot of commitment and will see you locked into animations, with the B combo using up more file gauge, but also dealing more damage and generating more amped charge. In sword form, you can press Y and B to do the elemental discharge attack, thrusting the weapon outwards, dealing tick damage as you repeatedly press Y. Once your weapon is in an amped state, this will transform to the zero-sum discharge when you connect properly with a monster, where you'll jump on top, latch on, and do an even more powerful version of the elemental discharge. This is one of the strongest attacks that the switch axe can do, and is very easily repeatable by just clutch clawing onto the monster and repeating the attack. You can do this for as long as the weapon is in the amped state. Once your file gauge depletes completely, you will be swapped out of sword form back into the axe form. It just replenishes slowly, but you can also reload it up until that point. Generally, using the weapon whilst it's in sword form and dishing out the different combos will see you do a tremendous amount of damage with the switch axe. Sword form is exceptionally powerful, especially whilst it's in its amped state. In addition to the forward slash and the fade slash that you can utilize to reposition yourself, you can also do a slinger burst with left trigger. Whichever direction you're holding the left stick is which way you will reorient your character, and this repositioning is omnidirectional. You can face absolutely absolutely any way you want to. Nothing really of note with ledge attacks, but the axe swing is pretty powerful out of it. Whilst playing the switch axe, if you ensure you've got the heavy slam buff active, you're utilizing the morph sweep regularly. Whilst in sword mode, you utilize it effectively to land some damaging, punishing combos, taking the weapon into the amped state, and unleashing zero-sum discharges with reckless abandon. You will very quickly see that the switch axe is a super fun, high damage weapon, with excellent versatility, reach, and damage. Just an all-round fantastic option. Some of its weak points is it doesn't have any defensive capabilities. There's a bit of management and upkeep with the file gauge, with the amped state, etc. Your movement, particularly in sword mode, is very restricted. You are quite slow, and your dodge roll in between attacks becomes a measly hop, which doesn't cover much distance and has the poorest iframes out of all of the dodges. That said, this provides such great versatility and flexibility. Enjoy playing the weapon in axe mode? Play it in axe mode, it's badass. Wanna waltz about with a powerful two-handed sword slicing the place up? Do it. Wanna repeatedly clutch claw onto the monster and zero-sum discharge it into oblivion? That's fine too. Take it to the training area and out on a few hunts that you're comfortable with. Give it a spin and let me know how you get on. Let's take a look at what skills are especially good for switch axe, not taking into account the usuals like 3 weakness exploit, 3 critical boost, etc. First and foremost, you should absolutely be taking 3 power prolonger. This should be seen as an essential with the switch axe. What this does at level 3 is it greatly increases the duration which the weapon will remain in its amped state for. An absolutely huge deal. Focus is also going to be a very useful skill over here, increasing the rate at which you're generating amped charge with your sword strikes. Notably very useful at level 3, but level 2 is pretty good as well, as at level 2, one full Y combo followed by a B combo should give you maximum charge. But I do think if you're able to, getting to level 3 is going to be super handy. Evade extender is also pretty helpful for you to extend the range of those hops, helping to improve your mobility and defensive capabilities a little bit. Not essential, but pretty nice with the weapon. 3-part breaker along with your heavy slam buff is probably going to see the weapon be excellent for part breaks, so that's something for you to consider too. Some weapons you can aim to craft to get yourself loaded up with good switch axes. Early into Iceborne, the Guild Palace Cleaver is a great choice. Decent raw with white sharpness, some affinity, a level 3 gem slot, and a plus 30 defense bonus as well. All the materials required are dropped in the single event 50 Shades of White, so that's the only thing you need to do to make this direct craft weapon. The Frostfang Barrieth Moonstone Hoarfrost weapon is absolutely wonderful too. Good raw, some purple sharpness with a big chunk of white, some affinity, a lot of ice elemental with power element file as well. A fantastic weapon in its own right, but also a great one to go up against Alatreon with. Another direct craft where you'll also receive everything you need from just running the one event, this time being the Last White Knight. Onto one of the breakthrough weapons here, which is absolutely wonderful, the Furious Rajang Demon Lord Edge. Great raw, purple sharpness, affinity, some thunder elemental, and power file, which in almost all cases is stronger than elemental file. Once more, another direct craft where you'll get all the materials you need from running one single event, monkey business. The upgraded Alatreon switch axe, the Black Harvest, is absolutely gorgeous. Decent raw with a huge chunk of purple sharpness, a tremendous amount of dragon elemental damage with low Elder Seal, and 2 level 2 gem slots. Power element file really taking advantage of that large dragon elemental damage. This would probably be really good to take up against something like Safi. Another breakthrough weapon that is likely to be possibly the second best one that you get in the game. The Raging Brachydios Light Break Axe. Huge raw with a little bit of purple sharpness, a good chunk of blast status elemental, a very powerful status, with a level 4 and level 3 gem slot and power files. This thing hits like an absolute truck and it's gonna really see you through. And of course we've got the ultimate weapon, the upgraded True Fatalis End. This is the bad boy you've seen me using in those clips. Tremendous raw, some purple sharpness, the negative affinity all Fatalis weapons have unfortunately, a bit of dragon elemental with high Elder Seal and 2 level 4 gem slots. Not too much to say, it is the ultimate weapon, it's insane. This is your final destination for your weapon progression. Do any of you already play switch axe, or are you thinking of picking it up now? What sort of playstyle are you going to go for? Let me know in the comments, I would love to hear from you. As mentioned at the start, a lot of you have really turned up and got us to around 80% of unsubscribed viewers on the channel. With the majority of you returning, if you enjoy the videos, do subscribe. Let's get that down to 50%. I've got a very active open Discord which has daily sessions of Monster Hunter World, Monster Hunter Rise, across all sorts of different platforms going on in the community. And we also do open sessions during the live streams, both over here on YouTube and over on Twitch. I will leave all of these links in the description for you. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you in the new world.